Hi, I'm Patty with Studio R12 Stencils, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute Easter project with a simple gingham background made with stencils. All right, let's dive into how we're going to put this bunny project together. Super fast, super fun. And the very first thing I like to do when I have things with a lot of little parts is I like to do a dry fit. So I'm going to leave about an inch with my round. My bunny feet are going to be mostly on, and I'm going to arch them away just a little bit so that they hang down probably just a foot. The little diamonds where the toes go hang out over the egg. And then we're going to have a little fluffy bunny tail way up here. And then make sure that you have room for your words. And then that's going to tell you right about where you're going to want your words to be at. So I'm going to measure, it's 7 inches down from the round. I'm going to write that down over here, 7 inches. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to get the perfect straight line across here, because we're going to leave, this part's going to be blue and this is going to be a gingham. We have to base it white because when you do the gingham, it does this really cool self-shading thing, which you are going to love. I can't wait to show you. So we'll take it back apart. Move all of our items. What I have done is I have taken wax paper and I have taped 2 sheets together because it's bigger than a single sheet would be. We tried to kind of think of how we could do this without doing this old-fashioned technique, but this just seemed the easiest to do, and everybody has that kind of stuff. I'm going to use a fine Sharpie. I'm going to mark all the way around. And then we take our egg away. And we check to see if our Sharpie line is going to stay, and it is. That is fabulous. So then we take our paper, we fold it in half, and we perfectly line up the top of the egg, which is our problem child. Okay, I think that's good. Then we crease it, and then we measure it. So we want 7 inches. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use the straight of, I'll do it the other way since my line's on that side. The straight of the wax paper to be our straight edge. And then the fold, the crease of the fold will give us our straight line. Okay, so now what we'll do, seems very convoluted, but it's actually going to be so helpful. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to crease this in the opposite direction. We'll take our little oval. And we'll get that there. And that is going to tell us that we're right on the money. And take my straight edge. And our ghostwriter with the gray tip, but I'm going to be very light with it. See if that left its mark. Yep. Perfect mark, and now we have a perfectly balanced straight line. Ta-da! You'll be able to use this for every crafting project that you need to make lines on that are circles and ovals. Okay, so now we are going to use some tape. Normally I would use our really good banding and things like that, but I think since this is just a straight line, we're just going to go ahead and tape it. This is one of those, there's not straight edges on things. I think tape is going to be my friend. So when you're taping, make sure you're taping with care, because tape bends and stretches. So you want to kind of tape in little sections. Okay, now we're gonna mix up our teal. I'm using number 6. Gonna shaky, shaky. I don't think I've done a teal project in a while, so shaky, shaky, shaky. And we're gonna mix an equal part of white and see if we like the color. It's important when you're mixing paint that you make sure that you are taking a note in your head, like have a common denominator, like this would be like a $50 size, quarter size, chocolate chip size. So if you're mixing a little bit of paint, I recommend doing like 2 chocolate chips, you know, side by side. And then just keep that reference in your head so that when you remix, you can remix. Use our offset palette knife. That keeps our fingers out of the paint. And ooh, my white's just a little bit bigger. So we'll give it a little bit more of the teal. And then we just mix it up. And I am not satisfied with the equal. So now we're gonna do it the way we should do it. When you're mixing paints, you always wanna mix your dark into your light. I really thought that my white was going to be strong enough to take over that teal, but that teal is strong. So you take your white and you mix a little bit of your color into it. And then when you get to where you want to be, you're done. Otherwise, when you do this, if you keep mixing more and more into it, you'll end up with a lake of paint and a lot of waste. And the only bad thing about this is more difficult to do this way to rematch your paint. So mix a little bit more than you think you'll need. Okay, so we want to see, do we want, this is going to darken up. Don't forget, paint always darkens when it dries. A little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And then you take your palette knife and you just put it between 2 pieces of paper towel and then clean it off. If you clean it off when it's wet, you won't end up with a very thick palette knife, and that will protect your blending edge. These are super flexible. They're amazing palette knives. You always need to mix paint, and it's nice to have a good one. Okay, we're gonna take a foam brush. Now, you can bleed under tape as much as you can bleed under a stencil. And especially when you're base coating, you can have like a really thick line, and then that's gonna make things messy, and you don't want that. So use the back of your thumbnail and bray that down. And then when you are putting your paint down, don't start with a freshly loaded piece of your freshly loaded foam brush. You want to start over here, not right next to your line. Okay, so we're going to go here. Oh, that's a pretty color. So now that I've worked some of my paint off, now I can come over here and notice that I'm pulling away from my tape. That is going to keep that from, if I was pushing towards it or going alongside, it would push the paint underneath. Okay, now we let that dry. I'm going to use my fold top baggies. These are the ones without the Ziploc on top. And when I based all these pieces, hi, I'm taped down. There we go. When I based all these pieces, I used a roller and frame, and then I put my roller inside one of the fold top baggies as well. And then that's gonna keep the air from oxidizing the paint, which makes it dry. And so that's a great way to preserve your roller until your next project. And one thing I wanna share, like this is gonna be such a cute little project. It would be so cute. The stencils are reusable, right? And so is your roller with the white on it. You could do these in pink and lemon yellow and all these colors and give them as gifts. Wouldn't you love to receive one of these, like your child's teacher and the pastor's wife, you know, and all those people in your community that you'd love to just make a special something for? This would be really sweet. Okay, so baggie, that's where we were going. All right, so we are going to put this in here so it doesn't dry. And I'll try not to misshape the tip of it because I don't want it to be rounded when I'm painting. And now let's get our feet done. Let's do the bunny hop. Okay, so we have a stencil for that. And we are going to go ahead and line that up, and I need to get a pink out. match our pink to our pink. I feel like I need just a little bit of bubble gum on my pink. So I'm going to take my light color and then I'm going to add a little bit of the dark, and I've got color number 53 and color number 48. Get a dome brush, wrong palette knife. I really, really like the thin palette knife for mixing paints. So we'll line our feet prints up, and then I really don't have a good spot to tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the big part first, and then when that dries, I'll go ahead and do the toes. We load our brush and then offload it onto a paper towel. If you don't offload it, you're gonna bleed under, so be careful with that. And you know what? This is a really good moment for a jumbo dauber. I'm trying to do this and I'm realizing I'm gonna end up with little polka dots and smear marks and stuff. When you have a big open space, switch to a dauber. And always offload. So we start in the middle, just work our way around. If you work quickly and keep it wet, then you won't end up with things that don't blend together. So I'll just go ahead and do a second coat. Ta-da! And then we'll do this little print right here. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm going to pull it off and we're going to apply it to the other foot. All right, I used a blow dryer on the feet and I'm going to take my tape away. Line that back up. Now you want to tape gently. Don't be all braying this down because that paint was a little bit thick. And get in and get out of there and get the tape off of there. Because you don't want to lift. All right, now the teal is dry. Teal, turquoise. It's a universal question. Somebody tell me what the answer is. Is it teal or is it turquoise? And doesn't matter. I don't think so. Okay, so same rules apply. Second coat goes down. And you wait until you've worked off some of the paint and then you go next to your taped edge. And then when you do that, you want to make sure that you come back and smooth it out so you're going in the same direction. If you're using a brush with a good oval on it, you can kind of slip slap and make a pattern, but I choose not to do that when I'm doing straight line foam brushing. Okay, this brush goes in the water. So then we peel the tape. When you're peeling your tape, this is a pro tip. You do it at a 90-degree angle because that little edge right there will fold completely down and make it into a knife. So it will actually cut the tape as you're pulling it so you don't lift the paint off. And then you notice I'm pulling it pretty close to the surface. That gives it the right amount of oomph and makes a perfect taped line. Okay, now I'm gonna get this dry with the blow dryer and I'll be right back. All right, this is dry. We're ready to put on our gingham. Gingham is so interesting. I love these stencils because they make it so easy to make a pre-shaded fabric looking gingham. So easy. So I have sprayed the back of my stencils with the Stencil Ease spray adhesive. Okay, so that is, I sprayed it outside, I let it dry, brought it inside, let it warm up because we're winter time here. And then I marked on my stencil which one was the top so I would remember. And then you're gonna lay that down right on here. The sticky is gonna help these long openings not be a problem. Oops, and it does. I gotta get it edge to edge here. Pay attention. Okay, so this stencil is just exactly barely enough to go from edge to edge. I mean, I'm on the line, so I'll do a little teeny bit of doctoring on that part that is not quite, but I don't wanna do a whole lot of extra work. I'm gonna use my ink sweeper for this. I'm just gonna go along and I think I might use my jumbo dauber. So sometimes dry runs, when you do your daubers and stuff and how it feels to you, are gonna be really good things to do. I am going to go ahead and, so what I like about the Stencils is it's not super sticky. What I don't like about it is it's not super sticky. So a lot of times these mediums can be so sticky, it's ridiculous. This is somewhere on the low end of tack, but that means that it's not going to be aggressive on your project. So I do like that part. Okay, so we're gonna take our new paper towel, we're gonna go into our color. And then, oops, you know what we don't want to do is we actually don't want an entire, let me make a mark. We don't want that to be the line right next to that line. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down. These triple threat ghostwriters are amazing. This lead it's a ceramic lead, and there's a white lead, a rollerball marker, and a gray lead. And they make it so easy, it removes with the eraser that's on the other end, and it will erase with water, all the things. So it just doesn't stay, and it's not as aggressive as a pencil. Pencils, if you've ever tried to erase them on white paint, are terrible. So I'm gonna lift this up, and I'm gonna line it up with the 3 dashes that I made. Okay, and then we press that down. And I just did the darn same thing again. Move it over to my edge. Okay, there we go. And I am gonna turn it sideways. So then give it a little bit of support. Don't think that it's gonna hold everything down if you're being aggressive with your paint. You could also get out a roller here and you could roll this. Be careful not to go over your edge. Okay, now you're going to look and see if you've got even coverage. You don't want to worry about doing like heavy coats. Just want nice and even. This is so much easier than using a whole bunch of strings of tape. So I'm going to lift this off and ta-da! Presto changeo. I'm going to go ahead and dry this so that I can put it on the sideways, and we're going to make our gingham. All right, now we're gonna take our same stripes. We're gonna line up at the top. Make sure that we're lining up, going from side to side. All right, go all the way down. Make sure that you're covering the things that you've already painted. That will make them darker. It's kind of counterintuitive. You think you're just gonna do the white spaces. All right, are you ready for the reveal? Here we go. Lifty, lifty. Ta-da! Cute. Cute, cute, cute. I'm gonna give this a blow dry, drop this in the water, and I'll be right back. All right, I do wanna use a banding stencil for my band across here, so I'm gonna choose a size. I'm gonna choose the 3rd one up, and then I'm gonna tape either side of that to prevent getting marks on where the stencil is. Getting marks where the stencil is. Let's see, 3rd one up. And so that'll be covered. And then these will be covered. The banding stencils are a dream. Guys need to know about the banding stencils. And then we use that tape to tape. And we're gonna get out a darker color. I'm gonna use number 7. Definitely a color I don't use all the time, so I'll shaky, shaky. You wanna be careful with the banding stencil, and I screw this up almost every time that I do it, to not go all the way to your edge, because when you get a hard line, it's really hard to feather it in. So you wanna end without the hard line. So I'm gonna use a smaller dome brush. Pick that up and then stipple my way across. So stop before the end, go back over it, lift up, and ta-da, perfect bands every time. Gonna hit that with the blow dryer, connect my lines. A little bit cockeyed right there. And ta-da, super fast. I don't know how long that took, but I think it might have been about 1.5 minutes. So nice and easy peasy. So now what I want to do is let that dry, and then we're going to put our Every Bunny Welcome, love it, on the top. And I think I'll be able to use this line to just balance this little critter out. Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit above. We're looking for same and same. I think I've got it over just a little bit. Okay, even it up. And then we can use tape we've already used. And take little bits. We want to tape on either side. Dome brush. Always a dome brush. And we're going to go into some white, which I don't have out anymore. Isn't it amazing how fast this project just comes together perfectly? Stipple. You can go ahead and do the bunny in white, but we're going to change him to pink, but the undercoat of the white will help him base coat pink. And I think on my big letters, as long as they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and swirl that second coat for evenness. I might even need a third coat. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to mix into my pink. I will neutralize that, and then we'll stipple Mr. Bunny Rabbit. Perfect. Brush goes in the water and reveal. Ta-da! How cute is that? Love, love, love. Okay, wow, this has been the quickest little project. Next, we're going to assemble him. So we're going to use quick and dry tacky glue, and we're going to put him about 1 inch up. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and glue the back. If you want to varnish this or seal this, do it with a spray afterwards because of the layers. So I'm just giving myself some squiggles of glue. We use this on all of our 3D signs as well. You could use an E6000. You could use, there's a whole bunch of things you could use. We find that this tacky glue works really good. And we love the tip and that it comes upside down, so the tip is always full of glue. Flip him over. about 1 inch, somewhat centered. And that's 2, we could squish them over just a little bit. Push them down. Now we'll glue on our feet. I glued a little bit too low, but I don't think that's going to matter because it's not going to touch anything. Okay, we like those a little bit of splayed out. Kind of center them in there. Glue them down. That glue that's exposed right there will just dry, and so it'll be fine. Okay, time to glue on the tail. So you find the part that has the little flat spot right there, and you just give it a big old chunk of hot glue. And right there in the middle of the top, give it a little push. You guys, this is adorable. I am in love. Look how sweet. Okay, so if you like this kind of content and you'd like to see how easy we make these crafts and DIY, subscribe, ring that bell on YouTube, and then make sure you give us a thumbs up and let us know you like it. See you later.